Hello and welcome to another session of Let's Get Real with Mona, where we share stories and teachings to inspire you into action so you can create or turn your dreams into reality. Now, we are in the second week of January. So, how has it been so far for you? Well, this year has been quite interesting. And I'm sure many of you have been feeling the energy shifts, the movement, and whatever's been going on. And I guess some of you may be wondering, did you set the right goals? Do you have the right intentions for this year? And is it going to work out? Because maybe you're feeling a bit discord already with some of the things you may have wanted to create. And I guess this is why we're talking about today's topic, which is going to be all about the power of intention, designing your abundant life. And this is another foundational step before we can design our abundant life. So, when you think about intentions, what comes to your mind about that intention? You see, many people haven't realized that before we even get to setting goals, that we have to have an intention. So even before we go into our discussion for today, the power of intention and how important that is to us designing our abundant life, let's look at the difference between a goal and an intention. Now, a goal is what we achieve. A goal is a result that we are seeking, that we are desiring. And when we look at intention, for me, the best example that I've found, and which I would love to share with you about what an intention is that described by Dr. Wayne Dyer. Now, in his book, The Power of Intention, Dr. Wayne Dyer describes intention as a force in the universe that brings about creation. Now, just think about this. A force in the universe that brings about creation. I mean, that sounds so otherworldly. That sounds so expansive. Can you feel that already? Because what it's actually telling you is that it's not up to you to figure out what it is that you have to do or how it is that you have to do what it is you want to do, but that there's something bigger than you, more expansive than you, that's guiding you and leading you on your journey. Now that puts a very different spin on things. And as we go through our time together today, you'll understand why intentions actually come before setting goals and how your intentions actually lead you towards your goals. So, what Dr. Wayne Dyer went further to describe about the intention is that it is a field of energy that we can all access to create our abundant lives. You see, it's not just for the select few. It's not just for those in the know-how. You don't have to pay anything for it. It's there in the quantum field of the universe. And it's at all of our disposal. So are you feeling that already? Are you feeling that connection to this force of creation that's there in the universe that you have access to right now? Where you're sitting, you have access to it. Now, the attributes that Dr. Wayne Dyer identifies with intention, and I love this because it brings us closer to who we are desiring to become, who we are evolving into. And those attributes are creative, kind, loving, beautiful, expanding, endlessly abundant, and receptive. And now, when you think about it, our theme for January is kindness. And how amazing that one of the attributes of intention and this field of and force of creation that exists in the universe is to be kind. So I think, and I'm sure you'll agree with me, that we are on point with this. We are tapping into the abundance frequency of kindness for the month of January. And this is one of kindness is one of the creative frequencies in our journey as we design our abundant life, and it's part of the intention process. Now, you see, intention has been seen to be a powerful tool that develops and builds inner strength and excellence. You see, intention activates this inner part of us, this part of us that moves us from motivation into inspiration. Intention is what supports our goals from the inside. You see, motivation comes from the outside, and inspiration comes from the inside. So when we have an intention, when we set an intention, it's what guides us forward. It's what propels us. For me, I see intention as rocket fuel. And you'll understand more about this as we journey together today. Now, intention isn't dependent upon the circumstances around you. Intention gets you going. Intention sets you on course and gets you to show up no matter what is happening around you. So just think for a moment. When you've set goals before, did you have to feel like you required a carrot dangling in front of you before you went ahead and took the steps to achieve the goal? Well, I'm pretty sure that if you are truthful to yourself, that intention was lacking, that this other key foundational aspect was lacking in you designing your abundant life. And that's why certain goals may not have materialized, because there wasn't this rocket fuel intention behind what it is you were doing, what it is you wanted to achieve, the result that you were wanting to bring forward. Now, some leaders say that intention is your big why. And so do I. For me, intention is the first thing that I start with. Well, my second step after reflection, which we spoke about last week. It's a second step before I can even think about a goal, before I can even bring myself into the space of, what is it that I want to achieve this year? What results do I want to bring forth in my life? So how's this sitting with you so far? How's it resonating with you? Where's it taking you to? How's it making you feel? Now, when I think about intention, and to give you a practical example of this, I think about the time that my husband, Vis, and my husband Vis and I summited Mount Kilimanjaro in 2016 for the Trek for Mandela expedition. Now, our intention was to improve the lives of the people of South Africa. You see, before we even got up to the mountain, before we even summited the mountain, our intention was to improve the lives of the people of South Africa. And then, what do you think happened? then an opportunity arose for us to support an initiative to provide sanitary pads to girls in poor communities, to improve the quality of the lives of girls in poor communities so that they didn't have to miss school when they had their period. Now then, the next opportunity came up, because you see, that opportunity was for our local area, the surrounding areas where we lived. Then the next opportunity came about, which caused us to be part of an initiative to support girls across the country. And that was the fundraising initiative of Trek for Mandela, which is the Trek for Mandela expedition, which is held every year to raise funds to support the sanitary pads initiative. And yes, we climb Mount Kilimanjaro on the 18th of July in honor of Nelson Mandela, because that's his birthday, for international, and it's in celebration of International Mandela Day. So then came this initiative, right, to support more girls across the country. And with that initiative to support more girls, that's how the Trek for Mandela expedition came along. Now, what was the goal for the Trek for Mandela expedition? Well, one of the goals was to summit Mount Kilimanjaro. So our goal was to summit Mount Kilimanjaro. And that's what we ended up doing. Both Vis and I, we ended up summiting Mount Kilimanjaro on the 18th of July, 2018. Now, some of you already know this about Vis and I, and you know what set us on this course. Now, you see, it took 6 months of daily preparation to get to that point when we finally summited Kili, because that's what we refer to Mount Kilimanjaro in short, Kili, like we refer to Nelson Mandela as Madiba for short. Now, we had to get up every single day, every morning at 4 a.m. to go and walk in our area, but to walk. And at 6 p.m. every day, Ves and I went to the gym, to train in the gym, to do more strength training. And then on the weekends, if we weren't training in the Drakensberg or somewhere at Suikerbosrand here in Johannesburg, outside of Johannesburg, we would be at the Westcliff Stairs at around 5:30 a.m. in the morning. Now it's about 20 minutes drive from where I stay. So it means we would leave here around 5 o'clock in the morning. We would be on the road to get to Westcliff Stairs. And Westcliff Stairs is the iconic training spot in Johannesburg, where everyone that is doing some kind of expedition where they're climbing mountains somewhere around the world train at this specific spot. Now, there are 210 stairs at the Westcliff Stairs. Now, think about this. When we were training, we would have a 10-kilogram backpack because you had to train like you were climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. So we would have this 10-kilogram backpack and we would climb the stairs and we would do, a round was up and down, 210 steps in one direction. And it's really steep steps. And like I said, it doesn't matter whether people are climbing Everest or Kilimanjaro, everyone trains at that specific spot because it is really, really the perfect spot for endurance training. And it doesn't matter, whatever marathon you're running, whatever it is you're doing, you go and you train there if you want to build that stamina, if you want to build that endurance, you want to build the resilience of persevering. This is what the Westcliff Stairs does. So every week, without fail, if we went out in the Drakensberg for the weekend, we were doing that every morning. And eventually, yes, we did summit Mount Kilimanjaro. Now, The question would be, was it challenging? Absolutely. You see, Vis and I had never done anything like this before. We came from the corporate environment. We were still in the corporate environment at that time. We were used to dressing up in elegant suits, power dressing every day, Vis in smart, fancy shoes, me in high heels. So going out and doing this and getting up every morning and going out of the house in the cold, doing, you know, things that we've never done before. And the interesting thing was this: Vis developed some mysterious symptoms of challenges with his fingers and his leg, that whenever we would go to walk and exercise, he would be in the most excruciating pain. And there was I, being out in nature, these very challenging paths that we had to walk on our hikes, and then having blisters and bruises. But we still showed up every single day for the training. Now, then we get to summit night. We get to actually being at Kilimanjaro. Now, nothing prepared us for what we were to experience on the actual night of the summit. You see, the trek up Mount Kilimanjaro was literally a walk in the park for Vis and I. I mean, come on. And for the majority of us that were part of the expedition, it really was a walk in the park. But what happened on summit night? Nobody was prepared for that, I can tell you. None of us that had climbed for the first time. But those who had climbed previously, yes, obviously they knew what was going to happen. And there it was. It felt a bit okay. Yes, it was minus 21 degrees Celsius. Yes, you heard me correctly. Minus 21 degrees Celsius when we started. It was pitch dark. There were no lights except the ones on our headlamp. And you can imagine it was freezing cold. And as we started the ascent, there we go, already at base camp, our breathing was challenged. Our coordination was challenged. Our orientation was a bit challenged because the oxygen levels were pretty low at that time. And there we go up. And what I say to everyone is that I had my earth guardian angel with me, which was Vis, ensuring that I got up to Gilman's Point, which is the first point of the summit. And do you know what got me to that point? Because there were many times when I stopped and I'd asked my husband Vis, please tell me why I'm doing this. Please tell me why did we not just hand over the money and let other people do this stuff? Why are we here? Why are we doing this? What made us crazy people decide to climb a mountain? And this reminded me that we're doing this for the girls, to improve their lives. We're doing it for the girls we don't even know. And then I get to Gilman's Point. And then what do you think happens? Then it's my turn now to support Vis as we journey towards Uhuru Peak, which is at 5,895 meters above sea level. Because now he had to be reminded about his intention to improve the lives of the girls in South Africa. And that's how we got to summit Mount Kilimanjaro. Now, when I think about that journey, for me, that is the most powerful example of what intention has done for me, for Vis, for our journey in supporting the people of South Africa. Because you see, every time I remembered why I was doing this, and this is what intention is about. It's about why are we doing these things? Why are we summiting a mountain? Why do we want to lose weight? Why do we want more money? Why do we want a better job? There must be an intention behind it. Because until we have an intention that is so powerful, I mean, think about it. Climbing and training for Mount Kilimanjaro, Vis was really challenged with his leg and he could not. His fingers were so challenged that he couldn't properly grasp the hiking poles to be able to use it to support him as we hiked. But that didn't stop him. He still persevered. And that's what intention does. It ignites something within you that it doesn't matter what challenges are there in our outer space, we will still keep moving. I mean, I had blisters and bruises. I would go to work in my high heel shoes after the trainings, and then I'll be walking around with these blisters on my feet, which I didn't ordinarily have. I would have these bruises around my ankles from the hiking boots. No understanding why that happened. But you know what's the funny thing? When we climbed Kilimanjaro, when we summited, when we went on the actual expedition, no bruises, no blisters, not a single one. Now, how do you explain that? Right? Now, when I look at how we got to get to the top of Mount Kilimanjaro, and for many of you who know, yes, I got on top and I put on the gold heels, the tiara, and refreshed my red lipstick. Because you see, I say to everyone, I was infused with rocket fuel when I got to the top because I was so close. I was 2 kilometers away from Uhuru Peak from Gilman's Point. And yes, it took us 2 hours to get from there to Gilman's Point because of the lack of oxygen. And yes, we persevered. Whilst I was running along, this was really challenged. But his intention to improve the quality of the lives of girls in poor communities in South Africa, that's what drove him, because he could have stayed at Gilman's Point and just gave up. But he didn't. He chose to still walk the 2 kilometers, which took us 2 hours because he was so challenged. Now, did you notice that the goal came after the intention to want to do something more for the people of South Africa, to want to improve the lives of the people of South Africa? The goal to climb Mount Kilimanjaro came after the intention. So why am I actually saying this to you? Because how often you'll have an intention and then something will come along and you would look at it and you would think that, okay, this is not aligned to what it is I want to do. And you go off and you set another goal. And then when you don't achieve that goal, you judge yourself, you may judge the world, you may judge the people around you, you may judge God, you may judge whoever you can for impacting your goal. But just think about this, like I've just showed you now. The intention to improve the quality of the lives of the people came before the opportunity to climb Mount Kilimanjaro, which became the goal to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. So, how often have you ignored the signs? How often have you ignored the opportunities that have come along when you set an intention? Because you see, sometimes we can be so fixated on what should follow our intention that we actually limit the possibilities. We limit what's possible for us. Because remember, our journey, the creation of our abundant life is not a linear process. What do I mean by that? It doesn't follow that if I set this intention, this very thing that must follow that intention and look exactly like that intention will follow. No. Summiting Mount Kilimanjaro and making the lives or improving the quality of the lives of the people of South Africa, well, there was a closeness to it, but it wasn't directly to that. It was a small aspect of it. Could we do something to improve the lives of girl children in poor schools that come from poor communities? And when I say poor, I'm talking about resource poor communities in South Africa. That was the first step that showed up. That was the first opportunity. And with that opportunity, then now we can support more girls in the country. And with that came a goal. That goal brought more awareness. That goal caused us to raise more funds for the girl children, because without that, there was no fundraising opportunity. So we were able to raise more funds and then have more impact and do more things around improving the quality of the lives of the people of South Africa. So are you catching on here? How important your intention is before the goals even come along? Because here's the thing, the intention will magically bring these goals into your space. The intentions will be a trigger to activate that desire that's been lying dormant and latent within you to come to the surface. That's how it works. So the question is, are you ready to go to the next step? Are you ready to be in the space where you access your abundant desires, where you access these parts of you that allow you and give you the opportunity to create your abundant life? Because remember, your abundant life is unique to you. Nobody else has got the template for it. Nobody else knows what is best for you and what brings you the greatest joy except you. Now, when I think about some of the benefits of setting intentions, now I've mentioned quite a few of this as we were going along, but to just quickly recap, if we're just looking at the top 5 intentions, the top 5 benefits of setting intentions. You see, intentions bring you into the present moment. Did you know, firstly, that you can set intentions, new intentions, every single day? Yes, there's no limit to how many intentions you set, and there's no restriction or situation where you cannot set new intentions each day. You can do whatever you want, and you can have multiple intentions every day. Now, what happens is when you set an intention, you see it moves you out of the guilt from the past and the anxiety of the future. An intention gets you to be present in that moment because you're taking action aligned to that intention every single day. Like we had set an intention to improve the quality of the lives of the people. What did we have to do every day in order to do that? Well, we had to exercise every single day. Every morning, we had to get up at a specific time to go out and train to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. Now, notice, does that seem like it is all aligned? Yeah, when you look deeper into it, it is. But is it a linear process of achieving the result of wanting to improve the lives of girls in poor communities? No, it doesn't seem that way. But that's the magic of it, right? Now, number 2, intentions connect us to all areas of our lives. You see, what you do in one area of your life has this ripple effect on all the other areas of your life, because ultimately all areas of our life, whether it's finance, whether it's our career, whether it's our service and impact, whether it's our health and well-being, whether it's our contribution to society, it doesn't matter what it is. It's all linked to what we do every day. And when we focus on one area of our life, service and impact, and we do the things, we set the intentions, what happens is that magically the other areas just expand and unfold in ways that you cannot even begin to explain. Things start happening magically. The third benefit of setting intentions is that it expands you. And I'm sure you've heard me say this many times during our discussion today, that it expands you. You see, it moves you from this place that something's missing or lacking. Because when you have an intention, it's not about something's missing or lacking. You're looking how to create something bigger, more beautiful, more magnificent, more powerful. So it expands you into that place. And what do you think happens? Then more opportunities, more abundance comes to you. Now, the fourth benefit is that Intention expands the flow of your abundance, because you see what happens when you set an intention, like I've explained, described to you about wanting to improve the quality of the lives of the people of South Africa. Now, the first opportunity that then came through after that was to support an initiative to improve the quality of the girls, the lives of the girls in poor communities in our immediate area. Then the next opportunity came to support girls around the country. Then the next opportunity came to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. Was that a fabulous experience? Absolutely. Did we get to meet a whole lot of people from around the world, locally and from abroad, on that expedition? Absolutely. Did we learn things about us? Absolutely. Did we get more opportunities flowing to us? Absolutely. And what do you think was constantly happening? Abundance. Abundance in every form kept on coming to us. And that's what we got to experience. So it improves the flow of abundance. Each time you show up for an opportunity, what do you think you're doing? You are in the flow of abundance, because abundance is opportunities. Opportunities presents abundance to you in different forms. Now, the fifth benefit is that what intention does, it shifts your frequency, shifts you into the frequency of creation. Because just think about this. It takes you into a space to bloom. It takes you into a space of where success and achievement resides. It takes you into the space to enjoy what the universe has for all of us, offers to all of us. It takes you into the space of joyful creation. So whenever you set an intention, you actually it creates a space for success. And what do you think success brings to us? It brings us opportunities to experience joy, that which our heart yearns for. I mean, above all things, that's what we're here to experience, joy, to truly understand what that means. And that's what intention allows us to go into, that space of joyful creation. Now, how are you feeling up until now? What do you think about this? How has your view about intention and goal setting shifted whilst I've been chatting to you today? Do you see something different? Do you feel something different? Do you experience something different within you? Is something within you stirring? Now, that's the power of intention, because what you've actually done right now is you've tapped into that force, that creative force in the universe that's wanting to work through you, that's wanting to expand through you and unfold through you, that's wanting to show up through you, and then it wants to lead you. Now, for me, I know that that force of the universe that leads to creation, that Dr. Wayne Dyer speaks about in his book, The Power of Intention, is what caused Vis and I to summit Mount Kilimanjaro in 2016. And it's that same force, that force of creation in the universe, that still guides us today in everything that we do for the people of South Africa. So this week, I'd love for you to take some time and sit down and think about your intentions for this coming year. Who would you love to be? And how would you love to feel this year? Because you see, this is what intentions are all about. It first starts there. You have to have the sensation within you. Who am I becoming? Who am I being? And how do I want to feel? How will I feel this year? And then watch what starts happening. And I want you to immerse yourself in that creative force of the universe as you're thinking about your intentions, as you're bringing forth these intentions for the coming year. I want you to immerse yourself in that force. I want you to be in that force. I want you to feel that creative energy all around you. And then I want you to let it guide you towards your creations. And your affirmation for this week: I embrace the creative force of the universe to design my abundant life. Now, after you've watched this video, I'd love for you to share what your takeaways are. What is it that resonated with you? And what are you going to do differently this year in designing your abundant life? So, until next time, ciao for now.